IPAs are the rock stars of craft beer right now, but the origins of this beer style might surprise you. Hello friends, it's Emily, and this video is going to be all about IPAs. There are over a dozen subcategories of the style known as IPA, but today we're just going to focus on the general overview of what you can expect from like a typical IPA. The appearance of an IPA should be gold to light amber in color, and it should be clear to lightly hazy, but the head should be very persistent. For the mouthfeel, expect a range from a medium to possibly a fuller body, just depending on how heavy the IPA is. You want to have a smooth texture when you're drinking, and the carbonation should be medium, but can vary to be a little bit higher. With the aroma and flavor of an IPA, hops are the name of the game. This beer should be hop balanced, meaning you have more of that hop flavor than you do malt flavor, and the hops can vary. It just depends on the IPA, but typical hop notes that you'll find are piney, citrusy, fruity, floral, herby, and maybe even a little spicy. The malt flavor should be light and clean tasting, and the beer should have a dry finish. It shouldn't be too sweet, but it can have some aspects of sweetness, and it can also lean very bitter, again, just totally depending on the particular brewer, because there is so much variation within this one particular style. The alcohol content should generally range from about 5.5 to 7.5%, but it can be lower if you have a session IPA or higher if you have a double IPA. History time! The term IPA stands for India Pale Ale, so naturally our story begins in England. Imperialism! Let's set the stage a little bit first. So it's the late 1700s, and a significant portion of India is being ruled by a privately owned company run by some business dudes up in London known as the East India Company. It's crazy to think about a government being run by a business that's located in an entirely different country. And so it's probably not that surprising to learn that the East India Company was kind of corrupt and had some messed up motives in this whole thing. Their whole goal was to create a trading monopoly all along the Pacific regions of Southeast Asia. Because they were monopolizing trade in India, they were also monopolizing the beer trade in India. Okay, so that's what's going on in India at the time. Now let's hop on over to England. It's the 1780s, and a man named George Hodgson is running Bow Brewery, which is located right near the East India Company trading docks in London. Naturally, he develops this great business relationship with the East India Company, and he becomes pretty much the sole producer for all beer being traded to India, the most popular of which was his pale October-style beer. So time marches on. 40 years later, his son takes over the brewery, and he kind of sucks. He drives away all of the customers, he just has really bad business practices, and so the East India Company doesn't want to work with him anymore. Meanwhile, in the town of Burton, there were a few breweries who just lost a lot of business with Russia. They had been exporting all of their beer to Russia, but the Tsar of Russia banned the trade right around the same time that the East India Company cut ties with Bow Brewery. So the East India Company asks Allsop, which is one of those Burton breweries, if they can produce a pale ale similar to Hodgson's that they can export to India. Allsop used a lot of hops in this brew because hops act as a natural preservative in addition to the elevated alcohol content. Extra efforts for preservation were needed for this long trip to India so that the beer wouldn't go bad along the way. And as it turns out, the water in Burton is better for producing pale ales than the water was in London. And this new beer style became hugely popular in India, even more so than George Hodgson's original recipe. This new beer style was called Burton India Pale Ale, which got shortened to India Pale Ale, which got shortened to IPA, and it laid the foundation for the IPA that we all know and love today. And now IPAs aren't just made in Burton, they're made all over the world, and they are massively popular, probably because of their unique bitter flavor. Personally, I'm pretty grateful to those innovative brewers in Burton because IPA is the style that got me into my appreciation for craft beer, and without it, who knows if I would be on this journey to become a Cicerone. Thanks for watching, you guys. So what I want to hear from you, Tell me your absolute favorite IPA, and I know it's really difficult to pick. So even if you can't pick a particular brand, maybe you have a certain style that you like. Either way, I want to hear from you guys. So please like, comment, share, subscribe, all of the good things, and may all of the good things happen to you as well. Bye-bye until the next video. Later, guys.